Junkrat is a rat in human form. No, not really, but he certainly does cackle like one. I very lightly tried looking up lore for this guy, but compared to super epic stories of people becoming heroes of the world or destroyers of the world, and epic space hamsters, Junkrat has nearly no story that's super easily accessible, unless you count the comics. I hear he is a big guy over there, but hell no that I'm reading a comic, when I could also be reading School Bus Graveyard. Junkrat gets a damage roll passive. He heals after not taking damage and reduces healing to enemies if he or his traps deal damage. His passive ability is called Total Mayhem. There's two parts to this passive. He takes no damage from his own bombs, and when he dies, he drops a bunch of bombs that are strong enough to kill any non-tank hero if they step on all of them. The bombs are dropped down from where he died, and it's a valid strategy to hug enemies if you're really desperate to deal damage. The bombs stay there for a little while after your death, so if your enemy has to go through the small gap, you can put them in a really bad spot by standing in that gap. Junkrat's primary gun is called Frag launcher, a grenade launcher that's really hard to aim, but the damage it can put out from the range this gun can be fired at is insane. The fact that it's a grenade launcher means that it doesn't shoot bullets, it shoots grenades that travel through the air. Don't shoot directly at enemies, shoot above them, way above them if they're far away. The grenades fall to the ground after only a couple meters, and that's why it's so hard to aim. The grenades explode directly when they hit an enemy or their shields, after a couple of bounces off walls or floors, or if they've been traveling in the air for too long. Enemies can shoot these grenades preemptively to make them explode faster. You might have seen crazy Junkrat plays on TikTok where they jump in the air and directly snipe a Pharah mid-air. Don't be a TikTok clipper. A shot like that is incredibly difficult to pull off. You generally just want to spam towards a corner, angle, or choke point. This requires practice, as you will have to learn how to land these grenades in the first place. With the very small clip size, you've got to be smart where you're shooting your grenades. You're going to be reloading frequently, and reloading means less shooting. A single grenade won't kill anyone, but it will almost kill people. And almost killing people means that they can't stay in a specific position anymore, and if they do, just shoot again and they're dead. The best and easiest way to think about this gun is to shoot it in a way that your grenades land in an area where you want to keep people out. Even though Junkrat might seem like a hero who's good at chasing and killing enemies, area defense, in my opinion, is his specialty, and you don't even have to stand in the open to shoot. Just shoot over walls or use the bouncers to stay safe while shooting. And another way to use this gun is in close range, and a direct hit means from the gun directly onto the enemy without bouncing. And this is really deadly, but it's really hard to hit as well. But if you're in a small room with another enemy, you have a good chance of hitting at least a couple of these shots. And since Total Mayhem makes sure that you're safe from your own explosions, you don't even have to think about accidentally hitting yourself. Junkrat's ability 1 and alternative fire are called Concussion mine. Junkrat throws down a mine that he can detonate. The explosion deals more damage to enemies in the center and knocks Junkrat and enemies away. Concussion mine can have up to 2 charges, meaning that you can throw 2 of them in a rapid succession. You can see when you get a new charge how many you have left and whether or not there's one active right now in the bottom right next to your other abilities. Throwing one down while another mine is out already will instantly destroy the first mine without exploding it, and you'll see on your screen the icon of a hand with a trigger where the mine is at right now. And the same thing with Junkrat's primary fire applies here as well. Unless enemies are close, don't throw the mine directly at enemies since the mine falls down after a few meters. Concussion mine doesn't go as far as the grenade launcher, but it can still go deceptively far, if you can hit it at least. You can also stick the mines on walls or roofs, but they won't stick on enemies. Throw down the mine with the ability 1 button, then detonate it with your alternative fire. The knockback on Concussion mine is really strong, and you'll most often see Junkrat players fly into the air. You can do this by placing the mine near you and detonating it. A great movement option to get around. Maybe to get the high ground, or maybe to get to point faster. It's up to you to get creative. You could also use this to kill someone up close. It doesn't deal enough damage to kill anyone by itself, but you can do a basic combo where you throw out the concussion mine, shoot your primary fire, and then explode the mine. Probably won't kill anyone unless they already took a bit of damage, but you can just follow up with more grenades from your primary fire, or just slap them. Junkrat's ability 2 is called Steel Trap, and I don't know about you, but this trap looks like it could just cut me in half if I stood on this thing. He throws down a huge bear trap that when stepped on, traps an enemy for a short time while dealing damage. Enemies can destroy your trap, and it's easy to spot on the ground. Try to place it in unexpected places, like right around the corner or maybe inside darker buildings where it's hard to see. You could even just throw it down right in the middle of a fight and create a small areas where enemies get punished for walking on your trap. But preferably, throw it down before a fight starts so you can be prepared. You can see on your screen if you've already placed a trap, and if someone triggered your trap, you'll be able to see. Steel trap doesn't go really far, but it's not really meant to be thrown far away. If you do want to aim it a bit further, aim up, aim way up, because this ability drops down hard. If you try to throw steel trap while another one is active, the first one will instantly get destroyed. Now that we have all of Junkrat's basic abilities, I'll tell you one basic combo that you need to know. This transforms Junkrat from a long-range spammer into a really dangerous rat that you don't want to meet in a room one-on-one. This combo requires someone to stand in your steel trap first, and the moment someone triggers it, you throw out the concussion mine, shoot your primary fire, and when the primary fire hits, trigger the concussion mine. If you do it perfectly, most non-tank heroes are instantly dead. But you don't have to go for a perfect execution. That comes with practice. I mean, have you seen this gameplay? I barely know how to do any of this. As long as the enemy is dead, you did well. His ultimate ability is called Riptire. You've probably already died to this ability a bunch of times before. This is probably one of the most feels bad way to die in the game. And it seemingly comes out of nowhere, and the range that it kills people is insane. It feels like there's no way to counter this. Junkrat wraps up a gigantic exploding wheel of death and takes control of it for a short time before exploding it somewhere he chooses. Junkrat himself stays still while the tire is moving, but if Junkrat dies, the wheel still moves as if nothing happened. You can see on your screen how long the tire will last and what button to press to detonate it. If you want to jump, press the normal jump button. If you want to climb up a wall, hold down jump. Along with the very high speed, this makes it a bomb that's kinda hard to kill. Move in a straight line or in the open though, enemies can just shoot it. The tire doesn't have a lot of health, so be very careful with it. If it gets destroyed, the explosion doesn't go off either. The explosion radius is really big though. Everything around the tire is just dead after exploding. Everything around the tire is dead after exploding. And that's almost a guarantee. Only tanks or abilities will allow enemies to live through the explosion. Don't go overboard and try to kill someone too far away from where you're exploding the bomb though. Just try and get as close as possible to an enemy or a group of enemies. Junkrat is one of those iconic heroes in Overwatch 2, and he has a very distinct playstyle and design. And while he might not be one of the easiest heroes to play, I've heard that some people really find him fun. Enough to keep playing him forever. Remember, use Steel Trap to set up an area where enemies aren't allowed in. Then claim more space for you and your team by spamming maybe 1 or 2 corners or areas per reload with your Frag launcher. Concussion Mine is great to get around, kill someone up close, or disrupt the enemy team. Use Riptire to almost guarantee a free kill instead of trying to get a Junkrat clip for your Instagram reels. Making any fight a 4v5 in your favor is a great way to win team fights. And if the video helped, make sure to subscribe.